Hey, Bob, how are you?
Hey, good, Jeff.
Thanks for coming on the show. This is actually the first time we're doing any kind of video for the podcast.
Well, good.
And we've chosen your mug to get us all into it.
Oh, that's very sad, but okay.
Oh no, you're setting a trend here, Bob. So
Yeah.
we frankly couldn't think of a better person to kick this off than you.
Oh, okay. Very good.
But we wanted to bring you on because, as we can see behind you,
Uh-huh.
the younger version of yourself, if you move, there you are,
There we go.
sitting next to the late Fred Willard. Back when he
Yes.
wasn't late, he was early.
No, he was
But-
very much alive that day.
Yes. So you actually have a connection to him, and also you're one of the funniest guys I know. So it's
Oh.
great to have you on to talk about one of the funniest performers I know.
Yeah, thanks for overselling me. It's always good. Oh, people are going to hear a funny guy,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
then
Yeah.
find out that I'm just a regular funny guy, not a really funny guy.
Hey, everybody.
yeah, set
Bob's
the
going
bar
to tell a
high.
joke. Bob's going to tell a joke.
Set the bar way up for you now.
So,
Comedy
yeah,
guy.
tell us about when you did know Mr. Willard.
Well, this was the picture is from the Roseanne show. This was from 1996. It was the Thanksgiving episode. And Roseanne had taken a liking to me because I was a production assistant on the show. And she thought I was funny. And so
She
would give
thought
me,
you were funny, too. It's,
she did.
It's
but
universal.
she's also crazy.
Oh.
So you don't know.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
But so I got parts on the show, and then she wanted all of the parts that I played to be extremely gay. And so I played a flight attendant once. I played my first when Fred Willard's character married Martin Mull's character on the show in an episode called December Bride. She wanted me to be a gay guest at the gay wedding, and she wanted me, I think, to be the gayest guest at that
The gay
wedding.
wedding. Yeah.
And they mercifully cut my part out, but while I made them laugh while I improvised pretty much the part. There was a script that was handed to me, and Roseanne said, "Just be really gay," and so I thought, oh, this is going to take some doing, but
So
anyway,
that was before this episode behind you?
that was before this episode. This was
okay.
an episode called "Home Is Where the Afghan Is." I play the gay caterer at their last Thanksgiving after the family became rich.
I believe I see an Afghan in that photo.
Yes, the Afghan.
And it's not Martin Mull's sweater. It's actually behind him in the picture.
Yeah, he kind of blends in with that. He kind of pioneered the ugly sweater bit on that episode of Roseanne.
You know, I watched the episode the other day, and I'm saying I don't remember seeing an Afghani character, and now I just realized it was.
Oh,
a blanket.
boy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm,
well.
I'm serious. That's what I was looking for.
Are you?
Which character?
Okay.
Where's the Afghan person?
Well, I will speak slower for the rest of this
Yes,
podcast.
thank you. So how did it go? How did your scene in the episode go?
Well, I had a couple scenes. I was in the show, and then some point before we shot the show in front of the audience, they didn't have a little bit to do over the credits. And then, of course, Martin and Fred are amazing improvisers, and Martin Mull asked me if I wanted to improvise a scene with them.
Wow.
And so it was shocking to me. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't imagine anything more exciting in my life. You know, they were on Fernwood tonight, and so I was pretty much the last person on the couch with them. It was my Fernwood tonight moment, and so we. I had no real experience with improvising, but you know, I just went along with it, and we sat on the couch for 6 minutes, and they took like 30 seconds out of that for the credits at the end of the show. But they were just both, and Fred couldn't have been nicer. Martin, of course, couldn't have been nicer, and very generous. And they set me up for the line that turned out to be the last line of the show,
Yeah.
which was fun. I still can't believe that it happened. I just can't believe it. And since then, I've gone to on to do so many things.
Yeah.
Sitting on couches mostly.
Yeah, we'll need to get to that
Right.
in another episode. We'll have to devote an episode to that.
Sure,
but,
sure.
yeah.
It'll be a short one.
You mentioned Fernwood Tonight. Now, when you were a kid in the 70s, like we all were, did you watch Fernwood Tonight?
I remember seeing it and being just not getting it.
I have the same memory. I knew it was funny because the audience was laughing, but I was not sure why it was funny. And I even remember I actually recorded with my little tape recorder pressed up against the TV a song parody that Martin Mull did once, and I sang it. I memorized it, and I didn't know anything why it was funny. And there was a line in there about taking a shower in a prison, I think, and something about picking up the soap, and I didn't understand what drop the soap meant, and so
I saw an episode where they did their version of Disco Duck, which was pretty popular in the 70s. But what was a weird
the
show? It was intentionally offbeat. And
what was it? Can you describe what the show was, the format and everything?
I cannot.
Wasn't it like a kind of a fake talk show, or? It
was a fake talk show, and they had fake guests, some of whom were more effective than others, and Fred Willard played the second banana, the Ed McMahon character on the fake talk show. It was just very low key and weird, intentionally so.
And we have a clip from it too, right?
I think you do.
Yeah, I think we do. Let's take a look at Fred Willard.
Kids, you should listen to this too, because you'll grow old. Remember me when I have passed away. Remember that I lived and died, as you will too one day. If I can write these few short lines, it will not be in vain. If after I am dead and gone, you still recall my name. Remember me. And I think it's
well, Jerry, that's actually very pretty. Who wrote that?
Who wrote it? Oh, yeah. I don't know. Who knows? It's an old poem, probably some old guy dead and gone.
Well, that's just how he was. Fred said these crazy things that were mildly offensive and absolutely oblivious to why they would be offensive.
Yeah.
So that's kind of key to everything that he does. And it's all these other movies, he's always just he's a half step off. He's positive.
Always happy, positive, nice
always
guy.
Happy, positive, upbeat. Sometimes saying just ridiculously wrong things, and there's something joyful about that.
Yeah, definitely. And his best known stuff is probably Christopher Guest movies, Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, where he played different characters every time, but always just like you said, kind of the affable nimwit. Didn't exactly know what was going on, but always a nice guy and so forth. We have a clip from A Mighty Wind, too. Let's watch that.
Let's start right out. Hey, what happened? As you know, back in 1970, I started on a series called What Happened? And every time something would go wrong, I would look at the camera and say, hey, what happened? We had a lot of fun with that and a lot of other catchphrases. I got a real red wagon. And I can't do my work. And I believe I was the first one to use the phrase, I don't think so. But it only lasted a year, and that's good because that's how you establish a cult. So I was on stage doing all my shtick, hey, what happened? And I can't do my work. And if someone would heckle me, they'd say, are you going to be on stage all night? I would say, that's right. And that'd crack up the audience.
Well, see, there's another example of him just being amazing. He's playing this character that is still somewhere in the 1970s on a show called What Happened? and he's making fun of catchphrase comedy.
Yeah.
Well, simultaneously creating a catchphrase. Because a lot of people quoted that after he died.
Yeah, I know.
It's remarkable. He's making fun of different strokes. And what'd you talk about, Willis?
Yeah, right.
We had a lot of fun with other catchphrases. Like, what's the point of that?
It's funny because Mighty Wind is probably my third favorite movie out of those three. But that's the thing I remember from Fred Willard always from those movies is what happened.
Yeah, and then his hair's bleached and spiked because he has to be ready for the next version of what happened.
Yes.
There's a lot of thinking going on there.
Yeah. All right, Bob, since we are the pick, we have to ask our guests to pick their favorites. And so what is your favorite Fred Willard performance? Fred Willard appearance, anything?
Well, I have 3 picks.
Sure.
The first one is Waiting for Guffman. He and
Catherine O'Hara.
Catherine O'Hara. Yeah. They play this couple that are they're the town entertainers in Blaine, and they're convinced that they're going to be the stars of this big show, and they audition, and he's such a terrible husband. He tells her not to trust her instincts before they go into the audition, and then they do this kind of hammy, loungy act about midnight on the Oasis or midnight at the Oasis.
Oh my gosh.
Which is just terrible, and I love them, and because there's just this slight terrible relationship where she's clearly not being listened to by him. And there's another scene that you don't have that he was in a Chinese restaurant with Eugene Levy's character and talking about a penis reduction surgery he recently had, and of course his wife is drunk by this time, and just it's a brilliant scene.
You know what, Bob?
I
have that scene for you.
What?
Let's look at it. What?
What just happened?
Girl talk. What's it like to be with a circumcised man? I'd ask you more about that, but Ron said the whole Jew thing is fine. Because when Ron had his surgery...
All right.
When Ron had his surgery, I said, hey, circumcise it while you're at it. Just because I'd never been with anyone else. Ron's the only man I've been with.
What surgery did he have?
Nothing. I don't know, minor corrective surgery.
Oh,
Can we have some coffee at this table, please?
It's not minor anymore.
Well, maybe, we should change the subject.
I had what, most guys would dream of, and I had to have a penis reduction surgery.
I'm sorry?
Penis reduction. Which there aren't many. You're going to say I never heard of that because there haven't been many cases.
I said, Ron, do something. And he said, why don't you get one of those vagina enlargements?
Oh, there. Can we have some coffee over here? Have you tried the egg rolls?
Unbelievable.
Let me ask you something. You're a medical man.
Yes.
I want to ask you something. If you...
Oh!
No,
for heaven's sake, no,
please. I just want
to do that.
Doctor, please.
Medicine man not go near dances with Stumpy. No!
Also with the great Eugene Levy there.
Yeah, he was in that.
All right.
Oh my goodness.
So that's your favorite. What's number 2?
Well, my number 2 pick is one that I actually hate by Fred Willard, and it's Salem's Lot. It appeared in 1979. He plays a real estate salesman in this story based on a Stephen King book. Not funny at all.
Yeah,
he's terrible. There's a point where he has a gun aimed at his head. You'd think he's Fred Willard. He'd come up with something funny to say, but he didn't.
Fell flat.
Yeah, and so then the vampires got him after that.
So was he just
probably for the best?
Is he just dipping his toe in dramatic roles, or what was going on there?
I think they paid him for it.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other person who was also terribly unfunny in that movie, James.
James Mason.
James Mason.
Oh yes.
James Mason.
What a pill.
It was terrible.
Yes.
Oh, that English accent. Oh, please. Yeah, I was not thrilled. I mean, that was probably Fred Willard's low point. You have to discuss the lows if you're going to...
Okay, yeah.
Of course. Right.
It's a new take on the pick list, but I get it. Okay.
And then
we like your strategy, Bob. You're setting up this next pick.
That's true, because you can't everything can't be great. He was a human being.
Right.
So the last one would be Best in Show. He was brilliant in that.
Very funny.
The announcer, and they had him sitting next to a guy who actually believed in these dog shows and didn't see them for as ridiculous as they are. And so he starts commenting and making up ideas about how the dog show might be better. And there's nothing more brilliant. He just takes off on it. I really think that sometimes the Oscars should look at comic performances a little bit more seriously, because
absolutely.
He was just fantastic in it.
And for the people that don't watch these shows, we haven't mentioned yet that the majority of the dialogue in these movies is improv. It's not. They give generally what you're supposed to, the characters are supposed to achieve, but a lot of what they're saying is just made up on the spot.
Yeah, and you could tell that he was in the Chinese restaurant scene. When Catherine O'Hara says it's not minor anymore, she was implying that he got his penis enlarged, but he went in. You could hear him change it, where he went in another direction, because you don't want to go with the obvious. You want to go with something a little bit more unexpected, which was that. And then at the end of it, he decides he needs to show it to a medical professional.
Right.
And Eugene Levy's character is a dentist. There's so much joy. Oh my God. But yeah, the Best in Show, it's worth everybody's time.
Well, we're having so much fun here. Let's do a little bit extra now. Just for the video.
What
just
happened?
For the video watchers.
What happened?
Here we go again.
I've got something to do.
It's just incredible. But I want to hear more about you being on Roseanne, because I do.
The show?
Yeah, with that episode. Because that episode.
Well, we've heard your impression too, so that
Because we have this photo here.
That's right.
A still from the show. Who's in that photo there?
That's Michael Fishman.
Uh-huh.
Two-time Oscar winner Shelley Winters.
Yes.
Oh, that's Shelley Winters. Oh my.
One-time TV star Roseanne. The back of Sarah Gilbert's head.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, that's Fred Willard and Martin Mull.
And you're serving drinks, I see.
I'm serving drinks, and Shelley Winters pinches my ass in this scene. And just so you know, Shelley Winters had been roommates with Marilyn Monroe. And so my ass has 2 degrees of separation from Bobby Kennedy.
Bobby Kennedy. Oh yes. Well, Shelley Winters is always great to it. If you have a Shelley Winters story, you have the world.
Oh well, I know you have a Shelley Winters story too, Jeff.
Really? Yes, I worked with her I was a PA on a movie with her once.
Uh-huh.
It was a really dumb supernatural horror movie, and she played probably the grandmother, like she played on Roseanne. But one of the assistant directors told me I had to go ask her if she wanted cue cards for the scene. So I had to go find. We were shooting outside of this big church in South LA, and I walked up to her, and she's walking towards the set with a cane, like really slowly. And I said, hi, Miss Winters, I need to ask you, would you like cue cards in this scene? She looks at me and goes, cue cards? Fuck off. And then she laughed and she goes, I don't need cue cards, son.
Yeah. There's actually a story on Roseanne about that same subject. And I wasn't there for it, but so many people told it that I feel like I was. Once during a kitchen scene, Roseanne is sitting next to Shelley, who's playing her grandmother. And Shelley can't seem to get her lines. And so Roseanne suggests to her, she says, come on, Shelley, why don't you just get some cue cards? And Shelley says, Roseanne, I can't act and read at the same time. And then Roseanne responds, then do what I do and just read.
Yeah, I remember you telling that story.
Yeah, it has to be true, because she would do all that stuff all the time. Roseanne would. But yeah, Shelley Winters was crazy. At some point, she had back pains. I think it was during this episode, and they brought in couch after couch to her dressing room to find one that she could lay down on that it wouldn't cause pain. But the only couch that would work is the one that is behind me right now in the picture, the actual couch on the set. And so there are scenes that take place that are being shot in the other part of the set, and she's not in the scene at all, but she's laying on the couch. And you don't see her at all, but that's the only one that would work for her, even though it was a stage couch. It wasn't terribly comfortable. And at some point between takes, she yelled out, "Somebody get me a jelly donut!"
So the studio audience could see her lying there too.
They could see her lying there and also they shot things throughout the day. So I don't think they actually saw her laying on the couch at that point. That was later on in the day. I think for Showtime, she brought back that old Hollywood magic. But yeah, she was a character. Oh my God.
But a nice woman.
Yeah, nice enough. She didn't tell me to fuck off, I think.
I hold that honor.
I know, but we've lived to tell Shelley Winters stories, so I think that's a good thing. But 2-time Academy Award winner, and
wow. Did she win for Poseidon Adventure? Because that's underwater
I think so,
swimming
Best
scene.
Supporting Actress.
Underwater swimming scene was incredible.
Yeah, I've had dreams about it myself. No, there's that, and she was in Bonnie and Clyde. I think she played Ma Barker.
Oh,
or
yeah,
something
that's
like
right.
That. Oh no, wait a minute. That was Estelle Parsons who played Roseanne's mother.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Okay.
She got an Academy Award for that. So there are 3 between the two of them. There were 3 Academy Awards.
And she was on that episode too, not in that picture, but
yeah, she was.
Uh-huh.
She was.
So was that your biggest memory of working on Roseanne? The shot behind you, probably.
Well, it was the best one. I mean, there are lots of them. There are things I can't talk about in public.
Contractual obligation, right? Yeah.
Actually, I don't have an NDA, so I can talk about anything. It's just it would take your time, I think. But
well, Roseanne's done enough stuff publicly that your stories kind of will they won't shock so much.
Well, I predicted that she would send the show down in flames.
The new one, you mean?
Just the new one, because she has no filter. She insulted everybody.
Yeah.
And
even back in the 90s when you worked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But Twitter didn't exist.
Yeah.
If Twitter had existed, the show wouldn't have lasted the 8 or the 9 seasons that it did.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't have. She nearly lost it when she sang the national anthem and grabbed her crotch during a baseball game.
And spit, right? Yeah.
And spit.
Yeah.
She thought it'd be funny because she just went there. She was uncomfortable and she reserved a lot of anger for certain people. Marcy Carsey, who was one of the co-owners of the company, Carsey Werner. She said terrible things about her, and that she was a nice lady. She would just get angry about things. I don't think she could control it. Roseanne had an accident when she was in her teens, where her head was. It was a car accident. A car hit her, and the hood ornament went into her head.
Oh boy!
And so she was in the hospital for a long time. And I've met people with traumatic brain injury. Everybody's different because the brain is so complicated. But I don't think she can control it. It's one of the things that made her comedy kind of explosive. That she had the ability to remember all of her jokes and perform it really well. But she was existing in the moment, I think, when she's telling these jokes. And so there's something authentic about it. But then the other part of that authenticity is that she can be unbelievably angry and derisive toward people.
No filter, like you said.
Yeah, and she'll go for the worst thing she can think of. And then in my case, on the show, she knew I was gay, and so she wanted me to play these flamboyant gay characters. And so she would give me the note, "Gay it up, Bob," and and I thought it was funny, and I couldn't gay it up as much as I think she wanted me to gay it up to, but because I played a flight attendant, of course that's gay, but other other people said I was being subtle, which I was happy with. But yeah, on the there was an episode where I played a flight attendant, which was my other favorite thing. My family got to fly down to California and see me on the show.
Oh yeah,
that week. And so my mom, 2 aunts, my sister, my cousin, they showed up, and it was great. But Roseanne had given me the note to gay it out, and I said to her, Roseanne, my aunt's a flight attendant. She knows lots of male flight attendants. Not all of them are gay. And she says, all male flight attendants are gay, and all female flight attendants are alcoholic. Where does that even come from?
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Because they can't get with the gay guy? I don't know. It was funny though, because she was a character, and because there was that kind of that shell of Hollywood, or the glow of Hollywood around it. There's all sorts of drama that happened on the show, and for me the money was I shouldn't call it money. The just excitement was seeing this show within the show, and how does this abjectly crazy person have a top-rated show on television for almost a decade? And she wasn't even the worst. The craziest person on that lot, who also worked for Carsey Werner, was Brett Butler.
Right.
The poor thing, she went off her meds the last episode of her show, and it coincided with the very last episode of Roseanne, and they thought they were coming back, I think. But she was talking to like potted plants and things.
Oh my!
And somebody said when they finally got done shooting that episode, they didn't even have 22 minutes of usable footage for her last episode of Grace Under Fire.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. And
Well,
so
she's recently she's been on Walking Dead in the last couple seasons.
she has.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, she plays a non-crazy person.
Well, good for her.
And
I
she
mean,
doesn't
I
play,
think
and not a
she's nice
zombie.
person. She really wanted Roseanne to be her friend, and would send her gifts and things, and Roseanne unfortunately wouldn't give her the time of day.
Wow.
And
Wow, I think we've just birthed a new podcast idea here. 1990s Carsey Werner drama.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of it. The movie American Beauty was written by Alan Ball, who was writing for the show Sybil, and a lot of it has to do with Sybil.
Yeah, Sybil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like the bad boss, the bad, trying to find beauty when there is none, and all this stuff.
Wow.
And he's a nice guy too. There are a lot of nice people who worked on those shows. Great people.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are lots of podcasts there. You could hear Sybil Shepherd warming up in her trailer, and she never found a key that she could stay in. she was terrible, but well intended. And her problem was that Christine Baranski on that show was the one you wanted to see.
The big star.
Big star,
Becoming the star.
Yeah, she just...
The trajectories were one going down, one going up.
And it wasn't even about trajectory. It was about this... She could just become this character that you had to look at, Christine Baranski.
Yeah.
And Sybil Shepherd is a fine actress,
Yeah.
But it's just different. You have a stage sensibility where you can be more elaborate, which sells a little bit better. And then, of course, you end up fighting for better jokes. You think it's the jokes that'll save you, but...
Wow. Well, Bob, thanks for coming on, talking about Fred Willard. It's he will be missed, and I'm glad we got your firsthand perspective on him.
Oh, Fred was great. He's a nice person. That's the thing that most everybody will say about him. He was a nice human being. And for them to let me on the show, I got coffee for people when I wasn't acting on the show.
Yeah.
And I had made Martin laugh, and that made me happy. Whenever I can make one of those guys laugh, that was it.
Yeah.
And then for them to let me sit on the couch, it's joyful for me.
And we'll have to put on our website the episodes that you are in, because these are viewable for free on voodoo.com. That's VUDU.com.
Yes.
And we'll list the episodes you were in so people can check it out.
Okay.
All right, Bob, thanks.
Very much.
Cool, Bob. Good to see you again.
Good to see you guys. Oh, where's my hand? There it is.
High five.
Live long and prosper.
I will cut the high five. I will cut the five high fives.